Hi, welcome back to Beautiful Souls. This is Only Sir, also known as Themes. First off, I wanted to say sorry this episode took so long to get out, but just like I said in my last video with Demigod Naofumi, I explained it there. If you interest in that, I will put a link to that video's description down below and also description to Discord. Also, I wanted to say I'm going to go ahead and apologize in advance. I'm at work, so if there's interruptions and stuff like that, there may be pauses throughout this video. And this is going to be a short one. This is going to be part 2. This is going to be titled A Father's Will. So our story, we're actually going to do a backtrack in time to about a year before Naruto is born. Minato is approached by an odd-looking fellow. He has weird-looking skin. It's kind of reptilian-like, but it's clearly human flesh. He's approached by this gentleman, and the gentleman asks him, "It's like you have a strong life force. You have an opportunity to gain a summoning contract, young one. It's up to you to choose the path once you begin the training. But fair warning, you have a high chance of dying." So, and yes, this person is a dragon, and they're using transformation jutsu. But because of things, it's very hard. So Minato he tells the third that he needs him to look after the village for a week, possibly longer, because if he doesn't return, that means he died. And the Lord Third, Hiruzen, questions that, and Minato says, I'm sorry, Lord Third, but I can't. I'm getting called to do something that only I can do. Possibly in the future. But needless to say. So through this whole ordeal, this whole week-long ordeal, Minato is battling. He meets up with the gentleman that discussed with him, and the gentleman weaves hand signs, and Minato realizes what they are. It's a reverse summoning jutsu. And when Minato's at first winded by this, and he has his eyes, but then when he opens, and he's like, bright. But then when he opens his eyes, he's like, am I in the sky? Not quite, but at the same time, yes. He hears the man's voice, and as he turns around, he sees the man starting to de-transform into a giant dragon. And he says, to gain our power, to gain our contract, you have to first prove yourself worthy by combat. And so Minato, he does end up proving himself through combat. Now, I'm not going to explain it because eventually you can probably guess that Naruto will eventually go through the same things, and I want to do it then. This is just a setup to the next episode, part 3, the bell test. So, part 3 will be covering the Land of Waves, because afterwards I came up with all this other stuff that I forgot to put into the last part, and so here we are. So after Minato, he's laying there, and the dragon with is all battered up too, and he just walks over to Minato and taps him on his head, healing Minato. Minato had literally been fighting for 6.5 days straight with this thing. He's like, "You've proven yourself a great warrior. Now, signing this contract, you give up all rights to your life before, and you have to do something for us." Minato is pondering this, and he's like, "I'm sorry, but I can't. I can't accept this. I have responsibilities to the leave." "Very well then, but know this. We will come calling later. And if you choose to deny us then, your life is forfeited." Minato kind of gulps a little bit. So Minato gets transported back, and him and the dragon appear right in front of Hiruzen. Hiruzen sees this person, and Hiruzen's face just kind of goes gasp. And he's very much surprised, because Hiruzen knows a lot about the shinobi world, and he knows rumors and stuff, and he heard about this. The gentleman then turns to Minato and says, remember Minato, we will come calling one more day." And then boom, the guy disappears into like an aether cloud. Hiruzen then asks Minato, "Was that what I think it was?" Minato kind of nods, and then he puts his finger up to like his mouth, and Hiruzen's just like, I never thought that when I found you that you would grow to be such an amazing young man, Minato." Minato kind of hugs Hiruzen and is like, thank you for giving me the life that I've had. Kushina, she's an amazing person. I couldn't. And mind you, this is at Hiruzen's private compound. Like, and there's no one around at this time, even his Anbu guard. Minato is then sorry about that. So Minato, after eating with Hiruzen, and Hiruzen's like, he then finds Raijin's to Kushina, and she kind of slaps him, and she's like, "You could have told me you were going off for training. How dare you not tell me anything?" Minato puts his hand behind his head, kind of doing like, the classical Goku thing. It's like, "Sorry about that, Kushina." Well, in any case, so your answer, do you really mean it? Of course, as she pulls Minato in and kisses him. We're going to cut to about 2 months later, and this is about 8 months before Naruto's birth. Minato is sitting at the Kage's desk writing in a scroll, and he finishes up what he has with that scroll, and he puts the scroll back on the shelf. And yes, this is the scroll of forbidden jutsu that Naruto in canon steals later. He then pulls out like another scroll out of his wrist, and he's writing down. And as he's writing, he's just thinking. He's like, "My child, would have never thought I would have this kind of life. In the writing, he writes what he has to, and at the end of it, he puts in, my child, all these techniques and clothes you must master. The scroll is the sum of all my knowledge I have learned over the years, excluding the contract. We cut to Naruto's birth. Kushina, I have to split to finish the scroll. Again, she nods, and like I said in part 0, the battle will continue. And Minato writes down at the scroll, and this is what he says before he passes out. My son Naruto, my sensei, has a scroll for you, and if you prove to him you have control over that form, you'll have a contract of only one other person. Well, an attempt at a contract that only one other person will have. It has only one jutsu in it, and only you will be able to go there. My son, grow strong. Now we cut back to where Minato appears next to Kushina before that clone disappears. Kushina asks, so you went there, didn't you? The clone nods, and he reaches down, touches Naruto's head, and it says, my son, this is all that we could give you. Please, grow strong enough to protect this world. Don't let this world end the way that mine did. And with that, it disappears. Now we're gonna cut to the bell test. Like in the last part, Naruto was going over his team's strengths and weaknesses. Naruto's weakness is his brashness and his willingness. Because unlike in canon, Sasuke doesn't like Naruto, but he knows Naruto. When it comes to combat and fighting, Naruto's actually one of the strongest in the class. He respects Naruto, doesn't like him, but that's just, for some reason, he just doesn't like Naruto. He doesn't know why, but he will listen to Naruto when it comes to, actually fighting. So, like in the last part, Naruto had given them both granola bars, and they spent a couple of hours talking, discussing. Hinata went over it, like what she's actually really good at, and then Sasuke rolled his eyes, saying he doesn't have it unlocked yet, but we all know that's a lie. He just doesn't know how to activate it again. Because in canon, Sasuke unlocked the Sharingan the night his parents died, but he was never able to reactivate it until Land of Waves. So when Kakashi appears, he explained the bell test. They make their way to the training grounds, and he says, "All right, go." He explains the time limit and everything, and immediately he sees Naruto and Sasuke come rushing at him, and he's thinking, I thought it would be Naruto that would do it. So he's dodging, he's blocking their attacks and everything, and then he knocks them away. And as he knocks them away, they poof into smoke. And then he's like, Shadow Claws. I mean, I knew Naruto had it, but Sasuke couldn't be. Does he have the Sharingan? And Kakashi, he's thinking about actually raising up his headband. And yes, he did put the book away. way. Sorry about the interruption. Oh yeah, headband. Okay, so Kakashi did put his notebook away when both Naruto and Sasuke had gone. Backtrack a little bit. So Naruto's actually very adept at the transformation jutsu. So before Kakashi even knew, he didn't notice when he got there that Naruto kind of used the multi-shadow clone jutsu and had one of them transform into Sasuke, and the other, they kind of were able to fool Kakashi a little bit. Kakashi did sense that someone was like watching them as they made their way into like the training ground completely, but Sasuke and Naruto had actually gone ahead. God dig it, how do you say it? Hinata. Sorry, for some reason I couldn't say that. Hinata, though, she was there to like actually balance it out, and they had made a plan to actually use Hinata somewhat of a decoy, because right as Naruto and Sasuke went in to attack Kakashi, you could see. Okay, it is recording. Sorry, for a second there I thought it wasn't recording. You would see Naruto and Sasuke, like the Naruto clones actually coming in to attack. Hinata actually jumped out and away from like the bushes. Then all of a sudden, once the clones disappear, Kakashi sees Naruto and Hinata come running out of the bushes. This time he's thinking, he's like, more clones. And then he quickly sees like the Byakugan active, and he's like, so maybe. And then Hinata comes in with the gentle palm technique and actually gets one of Kakashi's chakra points. And Kakashi at this point is like, not clones. And then he blocks a hit from Naruto, who gets sent flying back. The moment he does this, he just hears fireball jutsu, and this huge fireball comes hitting at him. He dodges that, but as he's doing that, he gets hit like 2 more times by Hinata and Naruto, knocking him to the ground. He's like, that was a good one. And he reaches over and pulls up his headband. Sasuke is a little taken aback by this. He's like, he has the Sharingan. Looks like I can't take you guys lightly anymore. As he stands up and just flexes his chakra, reopening up the chakra points that Hinata had done. And at this point, like, he just beats the ever-loving crap out of all 3 of them. Not killing them, but then after they get down, Kakashi's like, after he knocks them down, he just looks at him like smiling. And then Sasuke yells out, how do you have the Sharingan? Well, it's my friend's will. Died and passed his will on to me. But above that, you 3, you pass. And then he goes in to explain those who abandon orders on a mission are scum, but those who abandon their friends are worse than scum. So they go on, and Kakashi explains more about like what they will be focusing on, and he then asks, like, so who came up with that plant? And Hinata's just, like, touching, like, her fingers. Naruto-kun. And Sasuke's like, yeah, the bonehead, I don't like him, but he knows what the hell he's talking about when it comes to combat. As he punches Naruto on the shoulder, and Naruto's just standing there, and then Kakashi's eyes go wide as Naruto says this. Yeah, sorry about that, Kakashi-sensei, but I'm... And everyone just hears a loud... And Naruto goes, I'm kind of hungry. And Naruto just face plants. Sasuke's like, damn fool. He even said hey, Kakashi's eye goes a little wide. He ties Naruto up to the post and he's like, here, I'm going to go take care of everything. So you guys enjoy your lunch. Don't give Naruto any more until you're finished. And like in canon, like they have, mind you, they had already passed at this point. So, well, in their minds they had. So they're looking around. And Hinata eats a little bit, and then Naruto's stomach growls, and he's like, "Please, just give me some food. I'm so hungry. Come on, Sasuke. You're not that hungry. You've already eaten half, and you're just toying around." Yeah, but Kakashi-sensei said not to give you anything. And then Hinata just plumps like a dumpling right into Naruto's mouth, and he goes, "Oh, thank God." And then when Sasuke like puts like another dumpling in Naruto's mouth, they just hear like laughter. Good, 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 good. You're not worse than scum, I see. Our first mission will be starting tomorrow morning. Make sure you eat, and with that, get some rest. And Naruto, go eat something. You're gonna scare the living daylights out of people if your stomach keeps growling like that. And as Kakashi says that, like a loud grumble can be heard. Sorry, Kakashi-sensei, but you told us not to. Remember what we said? Remember what I said? And then Hinata's like, yeah, you said those who disobey orders are scum, but those who disobey, who leave their friends behind, are worse than scum. Sasuke's like, I don't like the guy, but I just can't. I was just repaying the favor. Oh? And Naruto, after getting untied, and quickly scarfs down the rest of the two bento boxes. He's like, yeah, sorry, Kakashi-sensei, but I gave them a granola bar before the test. Good thinking there, Naruto. But next time, boom! Naruto goes, you might want to think twice. And with that, you beautiful souls, that's where I'm going to end this part. The next part, I'm going to try to get out tonight at my other job. I still have a few bits to finish up on that script. I had planned for an hour-long episode, but with losing the notebook for Demigod and this one, I think they're at my cousin's place, several hours away. I think I may have left them there, but it wasn't that much, and I have a little bit more to finish up on this script, and I will... So that being said, let me know in the comment section what you think about this. Like the video because it helps with the algorithm, and Subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'm going to be shooting for 10k subs, and at 10k subs, there will be something extremely special planned out for that. That being said, I will see you beautiful souls in the next video.